Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily. On today's show, Giannis didn't mince words when calling out his teammates after last night's loss. Could he ask out before the trade deadline? Meanwhile, has another star point guard joined Ja Morant on the trade block? And I asked the guys, who would you rather be, the Lakers or the Clippers?
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your podcast app, thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I'm Wes Goldberg. Today we're talking about frustrations boiling over in Milwaukee. We're going to play Make It Take It before looking ahead to another test for the Warriors tonight. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Nuggets podcast, senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
I find it really funny that the Nets basically gave Jordy Fernandez 1 month in December to try and be good and then tank the team again. Like they were just like, here's a little Christmas bonus for you, like a little gift for a little boy. Here you go, Jordy. You get to win for 1 month before it's back to the tank job. Their month-by-month splits are absolutely hilarious. They scored 66 points last night versus the Knicks.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report, and the Prince of Petty, it's Haize.
I haven't been called that in a minute. Listen, the basketball world's funny because all this trade talk that's going around, I'm watching be over under 3 trades made at the trade deadline, fellas. How you guys feeling?
Under.
Yeah.
Under. Everybody's too, I need another word. Chicken,
feces?
Chicken. Everybody's too chicken feces. Everybody, this league is scared right now, and it's embarrassing, honestly.
Well, let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks, who might have to get unscared pretty quick because they got blown out by the Thunder in a game that was never competitive, basically from the jump. And after the game, Giannis was candid with reporters, criticizing his teammates for being, quote, selfish, and pointed to chemistry issues for the team's struggle. Let's go over to Locked On Bucks.
Not playing hard, we're not doing the right thing, not playing to win, not playing together. Our chemistry's not there. Guys are being selfish. Guys are trying to look for their own shots instead of looking for the right shot for the team. Guys try to do it on their own. At times I feel like when we're down 10, down 15, down 20, we try to make it up in one play, and it's not going to work. We just got to keep on chipping away possession by possession. Especially when you're playing a team like OKC or a team like Minnesota or a team like San Antonio. Overall, Russell-wise, they're better than us. So you got to know that you got to compete for 48 minutes and try to get the best shots available for 48 minutes. And if you don't do that, and you try to get the first shot available or one pass shot, it's not going to work with those teams. I've been those teams. 3, 4, 5 years ago, when we played a team that came down and shot the first shot, we took the rebound, went the other way. We were like, you're not going to win. Like, you got to move us around. You got to move me around. You got to move Chris around. You got to move Drew around. You got to move Brooke around. You got to move Pat around. Like, you got to move us around in order for you to find an opportunity to get a good open look. Like, if you come down and you pass the ball, you got Drew Holiday on you, and you shoot it, good luck. Like, I've been in that position. But right now, I think we just don't get it.
Halfway through the season and the message still isn't landing. That's a problem. That is a problem. And we've heard it throughout the season of guys getting too selfish at times. And you can see it unfolding on the court.
So that was a long clip, but I wanted to play the full clip because with Giannis, I think all of it's important, and I don't want to get criticized for trying to parse his words or drum this thing up. I mean, you saw how critical he was in that full answer. You heard some of the words that he used. Guys are being selfish. He went on to say, we got 39 games left. We don't have time. We really don't. Giannis obviously told The Athletic last week that he won't ask for a trade, but did leave the door open to changing his mind either on asking for a trade or preferring a different kind of eggs or something like that. Matt, should we reopen the conversation about his potentially asking out before the trade deadline?
I mean, we can reopen it. I just don't know that I don't know that we know enough, right? Like, I don't know we ever closed it really, because Giannis hasn't closed it. This is the whole thing, is he's like, I'm not going to ask for a trade unless I do. What? Which is it? Yes or no? It's fine. And if you're like, if you just want to be like, I'm not going to ask, I haven't asked for a trade. You say, I haven't asked for a trade yet. I don't plan to now. But also, the bigger thing here is, to me, Haize, this game and these comments are proof of what happens when when locker rooms are put in this position. I'm not saying this is Giannis's fault. This roster's not good because they ran out of runway. The core aged out. They couldn't get enough return on it. And it was impossible for them, honestly, to keep up given where the CBA put them. Like, the CBA screwed the Bucks more than anybody. But this is where they're at. Like, the roster's not good. However, when you talk about guys being selfish, do you know why guys get unselfish in the league? When they're worried about their money. And they're worried about their money because they're like, I don't want to wind up in Milwaukee without Giannis, with no one paying attention to me, which tanks my value. I want out. So I need to get my numbers up so I get traded for, so I can get more money later. When you don't feel like your leader is all the way in with you, and Giannis has said over again, I'm in. I'm all the way in until I'm not. You can't blame guys for looking out for themselves and not being connected. You can't grow. Look how the Suns play. No one's worried about their touches in Phoenix. No one's worried about their money in Phoenix. This is the difference. You have to be able to create that environment. You can't do that with this trade hanging over not just Giannis, but everybody in the organization, from the players to the coaches to the front office to the ball boys to the training staff, everybody. It creates this kind of environment. We've seen it time and time again.
You know what else I took away from that clip? Yeah, the players being selfish is one thing, but also a lot of that can go to coaching as well. And reportedly, Giannis was a big fan of Doc Rivers. So now, how do you feel about that? Like, we all see the problems with Doc Rivers. So, like, the team is doing what they can. I mean, to the front office, they don't have very many assets. The fact that they had to have the biggest contract waived in NBA history to just go ahead and waive and stretch Dame to be able to bring Miles Turner in, they're trying. They are legitimately trying. I'm not saying everything they've done is work, because Kyle Kuzma, why is he there? But they are trying to do something. At the end of the day, to get back to Wes's question, should we revisit it? Yes, but us revisiting all does not matter until Giannis gets off the fence and just makes a decision. Either commit to staying in Milwaukee and say, I'm here, we're going to figure this out, or ask out, and that way everybody can move on with their lives.
If you're trying to decipher his comments, here's a good way to look at it. Ryan Rollins had 11 shots last night. That's the same as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kyle Kuzma had 12. He shot more than Giannis last night, shot 4 of 12, and was a team worst -20. He did not have an assist. He had 4 rebounds. He had 1 foul. He had 9 points. Like, if you look and you go look at the numbers for who shoots early in the clock, like, it's Ryan Rollins, because Ryan Rollins has the ball more, and Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr., who didn't play last night. But then it's Kyle Kuzma. I'm not like trying to blame this. It's not like the Bucks are bad because of Kyle Kuzma. That's not accurate. But Kyle didn't want to be in Washington. He wanted to be a Laker. He didn't want to be with Milwaukee. He wants to be a Laker. That's what Kyle wants. That's very obvious. So again, you got guys that they've got their own agendas. When you got a team that's full of guys that aren't connected and are agenda hunting, this is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and rewatched the shots that Ryan Rollins took in that game, and it's clear. I mean, there's a lot of instances where Ryan Rollins just kind of dribbles into a mid-range shot, and Giannis is just either in the dunker spot or in the corner, just kind of waiting for the ball to come his way, and it never does. Not that Giannis needs to take a shot every time down, but not even touching the ball on any possession. That's, to Giannis's point, that's where you get in trouble as an offense. You're not utilizing your best player, and he's talked about the gravity that he has and all these things. The roster is not good enough. Both of you guys have said it. If the Bucks are going to move on from Giannis, which seems like it's a matter of when and not if at this point, it does maybe behoove them to do it sooner rather than later so that they can make the roster. You get rid of Giannis, life doesn't just end. Basketball goes on with Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Like, you have to try to rebuild after that. You move him sooner rather than later, you have a better chance at rebuilding. So is there a team, we'll do this quickly before we get out of this segment, like, the Knicks have obviously been mentioned as a Giannis destination. It's really hard for them to make a move, though, in the middle of the season. So if a trade were to happen between now and the trade deadline, what team, Haize, do you look at as maybe best positioned to make a big trade like that? Because as we know, those trades are not easy to swing in the middle of a year.
The Knicks are up there because they have if they're willing to put in Karl Anthony Towns. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to want some type of player back for that. I don't know about their draft picks. They don't have a lot of those. I like you guys in the Miami Heat to make a swing for Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I think a team, I don't know if they would though. Like the Rockets at this point have kind of made their move with Kevin Durant. So probably just the Knicks and the Miami Heat would be the two I'd pick.
What would you not give up if you were the Cavs? What would you not give up? Right? You wouldn't give up Donovan because it doesn't make any sense. And you wouldn't
Garland makes sense.
And you wouldn't give up Mobley. So like the money you can kind of get there, but the Cavs would have to do another trade to get under the second apron in order to make this work. Mm-hmm. This is the problem. Honestly, Wes, I don't think anybody makes sense. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't make sense for this. This doesn't make sense. Like this does not make sense. There's no team. The Warriors, it's like, okay, cool. We get Draymond Green's, slowly decaying corpse. Awesome. Jimmy Butler, who's not going to play for a year and is going to be livid in Milwaukee. Cool. You go to Atlanta, and Atlanta's going to be like, we can have anything but the Pelicans pick. Well, we only want the Pelicans pick. Well, you're not getting it. Mm-hmm. Cool. Like, there's nobody in a position, I think, to go ahead and do this except for. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Gabe Vincent. You get Austin Reeves, the core guy that you build around. It's the best free agent that's going to be available this summer. You get that guy, you build around Austin Reeves, you take whatever else you can get from the Lakers, and you say, like, hey, you get Giannis next to, like, you want the defensive side to pair with Luka, you get Giannis. And if
I swear, if the Lakers get Luka Doncic and then turn around and less than 2 years later get Giannis Antetokounmpo, this show, I don't want to hear no more Lakers topics on the show at all. You guys got it. We don't, just shut up, Lakers fans. Go sit in the corner, shut up, and enjoy your championships if that's the case.
Narrator, they did talk about the Lakers every day.
Right. Coming up, LaMelo Ball or Ja Morant? Make it take it is next.
Shoot me.
He wins.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. During basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building, the energy, the crowd, that first big run that gets everybody on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. Seeing the view from your seat before buying makes choosing tickets easy, and you can do it with confidence because prices include fees up front, so the total is clear right from the start. With features like zone deals, help unlock great seats at even better value, and whether it's an NBA game or another live event, everything is right there, all in one place. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. All right, welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. The best way to support the show is to subscribe on YouTube. We air Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts. It's time for Make It Take It Thursday. 2 takes, 1 winner. You guys know how it works. Haize, you won last week, so you get the rock first. We're going to start with LaMelo Ball, who came off the bench in Charlotte's loss to the Cavs last night. Missed 14 of his 15 shots in that game, including all 10 of his three-point attempts. He was a minus 16 in his 22 minutes. LaMelo's come off the bench in 3 times over their last 7 games, and his minutes are down. Obviously, now trade rumors are circulating around LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. So, Haize, would you rather trade for LaMelo Ball or the other point guard on the market, Ja Morant?
Can we talk about Jonathan Kuminga more? Can we go back and talk about Jonathan Kuminga trade? No, all jokes aside, this is a really good question, but I'd say Ja, and I say that because if out of these 2 players, which player have we actually seen play winning basketball? That's Ja Morant. LaMelo Ball, if you want to sell tickets and you want, flashy and one street ball moves on the basketball court, sure, get him. But if you want to actually build something with the team and have a chance of building something that can win, I think we've seen Ja Morant be part of it. I think if he gets to the right situation with the right coach that can get his mind right, Ja Morant's the better choice here. He still has huge flaws, make no mistake about it. Still concerned about attacking the rim going down, but I think Ja has proven to be a more winning player than LaMelo Ball over his career.
Unfortunately, Ja proved it, and then all the things that made him a winning player evaporated. So I'm going to go with LaMelo Ball. Is that, okay, LaMelo's played 14 more games this season. 14. Think about it. LaMelo Ball, who's never available, has played 14 more games this season.
But they're all losses, Matt.
He shoots better at the rim. Well, what are they? Are they wins
I'm
at Memphis?
I'm just joking.
He shoots better from at the rim, mid-range, 3-point land. I think the bigger key here, though, is you got to think about what you're trading for. So I think Haize is looking at it from the perspective of which one do you want to turn the franchise keys over to? And the answer is neither of them. But if I told you that you could put one of them next to your franchise star and they were going to play a supplementary role, they were going to be the second guy, who would you feel better about? You would have to feel better about LaMelo. He's a guy that can orchestrate the offense. He's a guy that can make other guys better with his passing. If he just takes out the bad 15% of his shot selection, which if you kind of talk to Hornets fans, they'll tell you like it's because he doesn't trust any of his other guys. If you put him on a team with actual weapons, then which one do you think turns into more of a winning player? You don't have off-court issues with LaMelo as much as like I think he's got a big ego. So does everybody else in the NBA. He doesn't have the kind of off-court problems. He's not constantly sniping and playing passive aggressive and pouting all the time like Ja Morant is. And like this pains me as a Grizzlies fan, but it's just true. I'd rather have LaMelo Ball.
But LaMelo Ball sits there and smiles through losses and playing terrible basketball. So like, yeah, he doesn't have the off the court things that Ja Morant has, which we can't take away. But like, I'm just looking at this from a strictly basketball perspective. You put him in a winning organization. Ja's already had to play not a supplementary role. He's played with Desmond Bane. We've seen Jaren Jackson Jr. grow playing with Ja. I think Ja can still fit in with on a winning team.
Look, they're winning their minutes with LaMelo Ball this season when he's on the floor. You control what you can control.
True.
And so they're winning with him on the floor. The Grizzlies are not with Ja.
The point about not wanting to build around either of them, because as you guys both pointed out, both of these are flawed players, I think is well taken, Matt. I'm going to give you the point for that. LaMelo Ball has gone to the bench in a lot of these games. He's at least saying all of the right things publicly. So you do feel a little bit better about that if you're Charlotte. Let's move on to the Knicks, who blew out the Nets last night to stop a 3-game losing streak. But they're still not where they want to be in the Eastern Conference, and there are questions about their roster. Matt, you get the ball first. Can the right trade fix the Knicks?
Yes, because you really just have to break up Brunson and Towns. I think if you look at the success that they've had with and without Towns, when you have Brunson, OG, McHale, Josh Hart, Mitch Robinson, like that core has won games. They've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. They clearly are a better team than they've showed lately. I still will maintain that Karl Anthony Towns, it's not Karl's fault. I don't think it's Cat's fault at all. Cat didn't request to be traded to the Knicks. It happened in the middle of the night. Then he gets stuck on this team that's got like great chemistry and it's the Nova Knicks and all this. And Cat's like, I didn't even ask to be here. Why am I getting blamed for everything? But I just don't think you can defend with Brunson and Towns. The numbers all bear this out over and over and over again. You can't do it. So if you move Towns, even for guys that aren't as high in stature, but you add depth, because I hear that the Knicks coaches are pretty worried about their depth. If you add more, break down Towns' contract into multiple pieces, a serviceable power forward, and some depth off the bench that you can play in a playoff environment, I think that gets the Knicks where they want to go. They would be good enough to make another run to the Eastern Conference Finals and have a shot for the finals.
Yeah, the problem with that is, though, Matt, and I understand what you're saying there, and it's all great in theory, but the problem is that trade of breaking Karl Anthony Towns contract up to multiple players is difficult to do in the season, and teams that have those multiple contracts are all waiting for either Giannis or another star level player to become available. So we can theorize the perfect pick for the Knicks, but I just don't think it's out there. I don't think it's going to materialize. They're going to end up, if they do trade Karl Anthony Towns, they're going to probably make another swing on another flawed player. I don't know they're going to break it up over multiple players and get players who just fit in better here. I just don't know if that's out there. You look at Karl Anthony Towns, and while he is a great shooting big, he definitely is really good offensively. He's not a terrible player at all. And to your point, he's not to blame for everything for the Knicks. But it's easy to say that the perfect trade is out there. But in reality, teams that have those assets, teams that have that capital, teams that have those players, it seems like, per what we've heard, they're waiting on bigger fish. And while Cat is a big, I just don't know if Karl Anthony Towns is the one that's going to get that interest out in the trade market.
Regardless of who gets the point here, I just want to kind of push back a little bit on this, because the teams that you're talking about are not the teams I'm talking about. Those teams are looking to move big pieces because you got to be able to fill in the money for Giannis, right? And you're trying to give the Bucks a signature piece. I'm talking about teams like Toronto. I'm talking about teams like Orlando. Your job as a GM is to find those things. The bigger problem is that these GMs, like we talked about in the opening segment, are chicken feces, and they don't want to disrupt things, and they're too scared of making the wrong move. But like if you go to Orlando and you're like, we'll give you a big that can actually score, Orlando is going to be willing to offer you multiple guys, Wendell Carter Jr., Gogo Batazde. You can try and work on something, and if it's like, well, the money's tough, get a third team involved. There are enough willing trade partners out there in the market right now that want to do deals with enough floating contracts. It's doing the one-for-ones. I think it's tough.
You mentioned two teams, and one of the teams in the Raptors is actually one of the teams that's most rumored to actually want Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, like, even in saying that the Orlando Magic, let's focus on that team being it. Yeah, you okay, cool. But again, there is still salary cap situations, and you can't just trade multiple players just for Karl-Anthony Towns. And with both these teams, well, at least the Knicks being close to the second tax apron, that wiggle room isn't just quite there.
Also, the question was, can the right trade fix the Knicks? Not, is there a right trade that fixed the Knicks out there?
I'm giving the points to Haize because I went on the trade machine and I couldn't find the trade. I had the same idea that Matt had, like, hey, break this up into a couple of rotation guys who could really help. I'm like, I can't find the trade that makes sense for Karl-Anthony Towns at this point. And if it's not at this point, then it can't turn the Knicks season around, unless the Knicks just played the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, hang on. Hey, Wes, can you give me 5 minutes so I can figure out a trade that gets the Heat, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then you'll think it's the right trade? Can I do that?
You don't need 5 minutes for that. That's pretty easy to figure out. Last round of Make It Take It is next. Then we're going to look ahead to a big test for the Golden State Warriors, again, without Jimmy Butler. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Daily is brought to you by FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. The timing's perfect, right before the games, right before the weekend starts. It adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, a little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. It's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. Thanks for making us your first listen. The Locked On Podcast Network has a show for every team. Check out Locked On Bucks, Locked On Knicks, Locked On Hornets for more on today's top stories. Last round of Make It Take It here. The Lakers play the Clippers tonight. Both teams have been up and down this season. Both have signaled that they're looking toward the future. The Lakers have Luka, but don't know what's going to happen yet with LeBron James or how they're going to build around Luka. Meanwhile, the Clippers are planning for the offseason of 2027 when Kawhi and James Harden come off the books. Haize, you won the last round, so it's back to you. Which LA team would you rather be over the next decade?
Man, right now, I'd say the Lakers because they have Luka. And not only do they have Luka, they have more cap flexibility this offseason. I know they have to re-sign Austin Reeves, but they are $105 million beneath the first tax apron. They have more of their own first-round picks. They have their own first-round pick in 2026, their own first-round pick in 2028, and then from 2031 on, they have their own first-round picks. The Clippers' pick situation is not as clear as the Los Angeles Lakers. They don't have a player like Luka to where even when James Harden and Kawhi are off the books, they're starting completely from ground up. The Lakers have Luka. They can keep Austin Reeves and even use Austin Reeves as a trade chip with some of their other pieces as well. I just think the Lakers are better set up as what we know right now. That can change if the Clippers make the right decisions with moving some of these guys. But right now, I think the Lakers are the team that I'd be over the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Lakers. It's the Lakers. I'll make the argument for the Clippers because I think there is an argument to be made here. Look, we need to start having like a serious conversation here about Luka Doncic, who we all assumed came in the league was going to be like the best player in the league, and he's put up these incredible numbers. Is Luka one of the most efficient players in the league? No. Does efficiency matter more than ever? Like, why on earth, if you look at just raw production, would you rather have Shai than Luka? But you would. Why? Because Shai defends and Shai's actually efficient, and Luka's neither of those things. He's okay efficient. He's just not crazy. His three-pointers are just not reliable, and he settles for bad three-point shots consistently over and over again. Like, what if Luka's not actually that guy? And you're like, well, what about the Clippers? Okay, not great, right? All the trade picks, all those kind of things. There is a window here after this all happens, after all of this goes down, where you are finally free of the Kawhi Leonard era. Will he, won't he, can he not? Harden's gone. Kawhi's gone. You can actually start over, and you got Steve Ballmer. they're not going to take the team away from Steve Ballmer for whatever the aspiration stuff is. They're just not. They might suspend people. They might fine people, whatever. They're not going to take the team away from Steve Ballmer. He's got too much money. It helps the league for him to be in it. And Ballmer has proven over and over and over again that he is willing to do whatever it takes to be a great team and to help the fans, to do the right thing for the fans. The new ownership in the Lakers, they had their success in baseball where clearly it's just like buy your way out. That's not how the NBA system is. Ballmer's willing to do whatever is necessary within and outside of the rules to put yourself in this kind of position. There's more runway for the Clippers long term if you don't believe that Luka Doncic is a 100% going to win championships guy. And I think you can at least make that argument. Whoever got the ball here first was going to win, but I do think that there's an argument to be made here that as bad as things are with the Clippers, if you're willing to be inventive, you're willing to be aggressive, you sell off those pieces and you get some draft capital back, even with the punishments that are coming from aspiration, I think you can make the argument for the Clippers.
In other words, you kind of do what the Thunder did to you, right? You trade your pieces, you start to rebuild, and you kind of have to go that way. Matt, I'm going to give you the point there, even though you kind of said that it's Lakers. I appreciate the swerve argument there. Nico Harrison wasn't right. We can't say that, but he did have a point in saying, how far can you go with Luka ultimately for the Clippers?
After he went to the finals, though, is the problem with that argument.
And also trading him for Anthony Davis. I'm saying he was not right. But in all of that wrongness, there was a little bit of maybe there was right. Yeah. Say it again, Haize.
I said, and then tried to sell it that he felt they were closer to a title because Anthony Davis was a two-way player.
Right, and part of the plan was drafting Cooper Flagg the entire time, like he knew it. Nico Harrison was wrong. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, you'd rather not be Nico Harrison. That's the answer here. Instead of the Lakers or the Clippers, you'd just rather not be Nico Harrison.
That's right. Keeping score for the season on Make It Take It, it is 7-7. Matt and Haize are tied. Chance to break the tie next week. Let's look
is minus 450 next week, by the way.
Let's look ahead to some of tonight's games. Rockets at 76ers tonight. The Philadelphia 76ers are 2-point underdogs at home. Should be a fun one. Joel Embiid is probable to play. Both teams are 5-5 in their last 10 games. Haize, what are you watching for in this one?
Repeat that for me.
Rockets 76ers. What are you watching for?
Come on now. This one I'm looking for the Rockets to see how they battle offensively with the 76ers, how the 76ers defend in this game. But the Rockets, I just need the Rockets to get back to being a team that actually looks like they can make some noise. I mean, they're good. They haven't looked terrible at all this season, but it doesn't quite have that same punch that I was hoping for this season. I'm still a huge Rockets fan, though.
No Steven Adams for weeks and weeks with a high ankle sprain. It's a real bummer. By the way, he's still sleeping in a sleeping bag on his floor. There's a video the other day with him in the ankle brace. He's still in Houston. He sleeps in a sleeping bag on the floor.
What a guy. He's
what a guy,
in a sleeping bag on the floor. His meals are just bowls of ground beef. And he's like the only guy who wears flip-flops in a locker room. Mm-hmm. If you've ever been in a locker room, it's just very strange.
One of the other things I'm looking for here is the Reed Shepherd experience after he won that game for them versus the Spurs. Like every game is basically like Ime Udoka and his disgust with having to rely on Reed Shepherd versus how good Reed Shepherd has been. And I'm going to continue to watch that for the entire season. I'm really curious to see how this plays out.
Warriors at Mavericks tonight. The Mavericks are 5.5-point home dogs. It's the second game for the Warriors since Jimmy Butler was lost for the season to an ACL injury. The Warriors got blown out in their first game by the Raptors without Jimmy Butler. But Matt, what do you want to see from them against the Mavericks tonight?
I don't really want to see anything from the Warriors, to be honest with you. I do not enjoy watching that team. I'll continue to hope that maybe some of the young guys will step up, whether it's Kuminga. I still believe in Moses Moody. I just do. I just think that we talk about Kuminga, who Kerr can't stand, but he's never really empowered Moses Moody either. Like them keeping him always annoys me because I'm just like, let him go somewhere where the coach is really excited about him rather than just like, yeah, you can be a guy around my star players. So I'd rather have that. Do not be surprised when the Mavericks win this game. Do not be surprised when they win this game. The Mavericks are terrific versus playoff teams. They're terrible against everybody else. If you're like supposed to be good, the Mavericks are awesome against you. If you're supposed to be mid, they get blown out. Do not be surprised when the Mavericks win this game tonight.
Haize?
The Mavericks are going to win this game. I don't have very much faith in the Golden State Warriors. I think but to answer your question, the thing to look out for is does Jonathan Kuminga have another 20-point game? Keep raising that trade value so we can please get him moved and stop talking about Jonathan Kuminga trades, please.
If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA Daily wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA Daily.